Hello, I'm Jacob from KTRU, and I'm here with Hannah Anderson, who releases music as Sister.
Hello.
And today we're going to have some open-ended questions to just answer with what comes to mind.
Okay.
I think the first one, one of the things that's really good to ask people, what is the origin of your stage name?
Origin of my stage name. So I've been playing for like 10 plus years, and I always just released under my name, Hannah Anderson. And then I stopped releasing and playing live for like 4 years. And I was like, okay, I need a new stage name. I don't know. Like for a year I was brainstorming, and then one day my little brother just was like, you should go by Sister. And I was like, I don't know, that's kind of basic. I don't know if that really works. But then it just kind of stuck. And like a year later, I thought about it and I was like, oh my God, I'm Sister. And I'm a middle child. I have 2 older siblings and 2 younger siblings. And I just feel like the name Sister kind of encompasses me as a person. And I think for me, it kind of represents community and support and creating just like this idea of family. And I think that's like so important right now as well, just kind of a hectic year for everybody. But yeah, that's kind of the origin of the name. So
Cool. That's really awesome.
kind of bringing comfort to people, I guess.
Yeah. And then I noticed before we started the recording, we talked a little about your painting. How long have you painted?
Well, okay, so this is kind of crazy. Like, I'll show you the piece that I'm working on now, and then there's one behind me as well, some over there. But so for my boyfriend's birthday, he wanted me to paint him a painting, which is the one in my living room.
Yeah.
And I've painted since I was a kid. Like my mom always had, me and my siblings were all homeschooled, and my mom always had art supplies just on hand for us, whether that be like crayons, markers, paint, whatever. So it was just always accessible to us. And my dad's an artist, and so like I've always painted, but I've never considered myself like an artist. And then when my boyfriend asked for a painting for his birthday, I did that, posted it on Instagram, was like, if you need a painting in your house, let me know. And then people started commissioning me. So now I'm like doing commissions and I'm an artist. So
That's awesome.
it's kind of crazy. Yeah. But I love it. It's like, for me, it's interesting because the process of music and painting is so different. Like they both bring me this like peace and just this moment to just kind of like clear my mind. But with music, I have to work with people to do that and help like rely on other people. But with art and painting, I can just do it myself. And so it's this very self-sufficient thing. And it's gratifying the same way that music is, but in a different way. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's a really cool distinction between like how each one is, like they're both creative, but like in different ways.
Yeah, I love it.
This one's a little random, but pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Never.
Never. Strong.
Never.
It's a gut reaction.
I do not like warm, like savory fruit. Like I prefer fruit in a pie, but I don't want fruit mixed with like sauce or meat or any of that kind of thing. Cold fruit or like a pie, you know.
Oh, yeah. For a first time listener, what song do you recommend they listen to of yours?
First time listener, I mean, people really like Love Me Right. So I would say Love Me Right. But my personal favorite on my last EP called Going Through Some Things is Stars. I really love that as the intro track. And this is one of my oldest songs on the EP, but I feel like it really encompasses me, my sound. I don't know. but it turned out like I started playing it on a piano, and then I was like, this, I feel like this needs like, like Woods, Bon Iver kind of vibe. So we just went with like the layered auto-tuned vocals, and then we ended up just having my friend Andy play bass, and he just did this insane, beautiful bass line on there, and then we ended up taking the piano out. But I feel like that was the most fun and creative song for me on there, but people let me write as well. So both of those were two good starters.
Awesome. For do you normally start writing on a piano, or what's your process normally?
So I guess it varies from song to song. So when I write a song, I can do like one of three things, which is I'm always collecting voice memos on my phone, just like if I'll get a line idea or a melody idea, and I'll just kind of sing it into my phone and just save it for later. So my voice memos is just stocked with like 15-second tracks. So sometimes I'll just record it into my phone, save it for later. Other times I can just like sit down at the piano and just write an entire song. Other times I sit down with my guitar and kind of play around. But it really just depends. And sometimes it can take me like years to finish a song, and sometimes it takes me like 10 minutes. So yeah, it's a varying process.
Definitely, it's always really interesting for me, at least, to see how musicians think about like how like the lyrics come to them and how everything comes together.
Yeah.
Do you normally start like, it sounds like you start with the instruments and like kind of come up with the lyrics during that, or do you like how does that work?
I'd say usually it's like lyrics first, because I think like my strong suit is in songwriting and just writing the actual lyrics, like what is the message of the song, what am I trying to say. And I can play the piano and I can play the guitar fairly well, but I think with my writing of my voice, then I have more just a wider range of what I can do. And so I usually start with the melody or the lyrics first, and then I'll kind of try and play the piano or the guitar around that. But yeah, I feel like it's always the melody idea that happens first. And then if it's lyrics first, which I just like writing in my journal, and then I'll go back and like kind of just pull from that. And if it's lyrics first, then I'll just come up with a melody that I feel fits those lyrics. So it's always based around the lyrics or the melody. But yeah, it's an interesting thing, because I feel like it's my favorite thing to do and also my least favorite thing to do, because it's just the most frustrating. But then when you're done, you're like, oh yes, I did this. So it's a interesting, cool feeling.
Oh, definitely. This is another random one, but favorite dinosaur?
Favorite dinosaur? That's a very good question. I like a velociraptor, honestly. But what are the ones that have the really long necks and they eat plants only?
Oh,
I can't remember what the name.
Stegosaurus?
Yeah, I like those. Yeah, love a dinosaur. One time, I swear, I feel like I saw a pterodactyl, and my brother was with me, and he said he saw it too, but there's no proof to that. I just, it's all, by word, you have to just
much more unique than a UFO sighting, for sure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it was like we were driving, it was like way out, like past spring. This was maybe like a decade ago. So, I mean, this could just be a story at this point. But we were driving in the car and we were like, oh my God, what is that? And it looked like a red pterodactyl. But then we tried to tell everyone and they were like, you guys are crazy. We're not believing this. So, But,
oh, that's hilarious.
Who's to say?
What's the strangest headline you've seen during quarantine?
Strangest headline. Oh my God, what is, like, literally every headline is a strange headline. I feel like at this point, there's so much information and misinformation going around. And I don't know, but I can't pinpoint a specific headline that I've read that I'm like, oh, wow. But all of them.
All of them.
Yeah.
Definitely a weird time.
Definitely a weird time. And the headlines just like are so anxiety causing. And then you read the article and it's like, oh, there's nothing going on. It's like the headline always just blows everything out of proportion, you know?
Definitely. Yeah. It gets you scared enough to read the article.
Exactly. And that's the goal, right?
Yeah, of course. How would you describe your personality as a genre of music, but not the genre of music you perform in?
Let's see. That's a really good question. I feel like maybe one of two things, which would be like just the ultimate pop music, and then also maybe just like emo music. I don't know, emo punk. Really contradictory.
It worked though.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotta have that, like that dichotomy, both sides.
Oh yeah, gotta have that dichotomy.
I think a good question to end on, because I think it's kind of fun, is describe your music making process as a recipe.
Ooh.
So we talked about the process, but like,
okay.
now with food.
With food, do I describe it in terms of food, or do I describe it in terms of like?
Whichever one you think's more fun.
Okay. Let's see. I do love to cook, so let's see. It's probably gonna be a baked treat, a baked good of some sort. So we're gonna start with some flour. Gotta put a lot of sugar in there, but also some salt, because you gotta have that dichotomy, you know. We're gonna put some cinnamon, and we're gonna put some nutmeg. We're gonna put some sourdough starter, because gotta have the sourdough. I don't know what this treat is, but we're loving it, and we're gonna bake it probably at 350 for a good 40 minutes, and it's delicious. So that's what we've got. I don't know what that recipe, I should try making that recipe. It's probably not going to come up with anything, but
I'd be curious what would happen.
It's probably just like a cinnamon bread. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it could be. I think it could be something.
Yeah, it's something. Something for sure. Yeah, that's it.
Well, thank you so much for talking today.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for asking the questions. They're fun.